Hi everybody. So this afternoon we're going to start on our wiring and taping class. You guys did a little bit of this in Hort 1 when we made corsages and boutonnieres. And it could be that a few of you did some other methods just for fun along the way, depending on which class you're in and how much time we had and what materials we had in the greenhouse when we were doing it. But we're going to do some advanced techniques too, and it should be super fun for you. There are things that you would be able to use in a variety of ways as you move forward as a floral designer. In your kit that I sent you home, you should have some tape and you should have some different lengths and widths of floral wire. Remember to always use the least amount of mechanics, that's the tools and techniques that you can, because those things should stay hidden, they should be smooth, and we really want them to just help us use the flowers and accentuate the flowers, not be what we're paying attention to. So we're going to start with a little bit of pierce wiring. That's one of the ones that you did before. And we're going to use a mini carnation for your pierce wiring. I sent you home each about 3 stems of mini carnations, and just take the flower heads off one at a time so that you'll have the other flowers on the stems to use for other things later on. You are going to need to use all of them. So try to plan out the flowers, try to follow instructions pretty carefully, and that way you'll always have what you need for when we go on to the next part of these lessons. So in your stems of carnations, mini carnations, you probably have some that look nice and open like this and look full and juicy and turgid and ready to go, but you might also have some smaller buds. I purposely made sure you all had some smaller buds. Those will be really great for a project we're going to do later on. So don't think they're wasteful. They're not. They're going to be useful. And the other thing you can do is, say with this dark fuchsia mini carnation, if you want to try, you can gently use your thumbs and just spread them around the carnation like this, and that'll encourage them to open just a little bit more. Sometimes those petals get a tiny bit stuck. And look at all this openness we can create with our fingers if we're just really gentle. So you can transform it into something bigger as well, as if you'd like. So just take one of those nice full carnations and get yourself a piece of kind of medium thin wire. Unfortunately, they're not numbered for you. I put together a nice selection, but I couldn't really number them all for you. I wish I could have sent you each home a whole box of each thickness, but I think I sent home some 22, some 24, some 26, and some 28. I stuck with the even numbers. So remember that pierce wiring is for flowers with a large calyx, so that's this part here. We're going to take the stem all the way off. You would also use pierce wiring with a rose, although sometimes roses are heavy enough that you would use a double pierce, and I can show you how that works after this. So we're going to take your piece of wire and you're going to pierce directly through the calyx, and then you're going to fold it in half. Now, just because I want to make my materials go as long as possible, I am going to cut that wire in half with my pruners. And then you can see that I took the wire when I pierced it, I went just above the sepals a little bit, not quite halfway. We want it to have plenty of strength and balance, but we don't want to have more mechanics than we need. Now I'm going to cover my mechanics with my floral tape. And I'm going to make sure it's nice and smooth. And if you feel like you need to practice covering your tape, covering your wire with tape a little bit before you start, feel free to do that, and voila. There is your pierced mini carnation. So if we were going to use a rose, I can grab one of these beautiful yellow roses. And I'm not going to sacrifice it for the project. I am going to show you how we would double pierce this. Because we would use the piercing method on this, but because it doesn't have a nice big fat calyx, what you would do is double pierce. You would take one wire and you would come across through this way. And then you would take the other wire and you would come through across this way. So it ends up in like a T, right straight through on both sides. I'm going to try to show you this without actually piercing the rose because I don't want to, I'd rather put it in a vase later on. Then I would fold both of those down just like I did with my piercing. I would, of course, have taken the stem off first, and then I would bring those wires down along here, and I would tape the whole thing. That gives it more support given the flower head is heavier. So that's what I would do to pierce wire rose. I would double pierce it, and then it would have plenty of support. So have fun practicing.